Hey boys, do I ever have a treat for you? Techland was kind enough to send me over a sliver of the new Dying Light the Beast game that's coming out on September 19th, so I'll be going over the little wacky adventure I went on during a 2-hour time frame. Of course, this video is sponsored by the mad lads over at Techland, so go ahead, unleash the beast, and pre-order Dying Light the Beast by clicking the links in the description and my pinned comment down below. I do have to stress though, this is by no means the full finished game. It's basically just a little preview of a small section of the game, so please keep that in mind. Alright, would you like to see what I got up to? When I was birthed into the world, the first thing I saw was a guy wearing glasses. He was one of my boys, and he told me that another group of our boys was out and about trying to retrieve a supply cache when we randomly lost contact with them. It was up to me to go find them. So, alright, I got moving. I made my way out of that place, which just so happened to be some sort of museum, and emerged out into the world. Our boys were out there somewhere, battling against the elements of such a harsh world, and their only hope to survive it was me. I had to hurry. So I climbed over to the next building, and that was when I came across my first zombie. Now, I didn't know if I had any weapons or not, so I just started beating her ass bare knuckle style. She got a few good hits in herself, and I was a little worried that the first zombie I encountered was gonna make a fool of me, but in the end, I came out of that battle victorious. Poor lady didn't even stand a chance. Feeling good about myself, I perched up on the roof like Batman, pulled out a crowbar, and jumped to the other side. Are you kidding me? I've been playing this game for 30 seconds and I already died. Oh my god, I'm deleting my channel. Okay, I was in the streets now and I was itching to see what this new combat gameplay looked like. So I ran up to a lady and oh wow. Oh, is that her brain? Yeah, and look! As you beat on the zombies, their bodies get injured in the exact spots you hit them. Damn, dude, I just destroyed that guy's jaw. Okay, I'm liking this. So yeah, after beating on their asses some more and nearly getting sent to the Shadow Realm myself, I thought it was time to go see what my boys were up to. Wait, hang on there. There's this little place I can slip into. Oh, okay, well, I'm good on that. Goodbye. I climbed a building, got over to the other side, and there, sitting just below me, was a supply cache. Sadly, it looked like my boys hadn't made it. It was gonna be up to me to get some vengeance for them. I beat on Killian Murphy with a crowbar, slammed this guy's brains out, watched as the big one crushed his own allies, and almost got assaulted by a fat boy before getting saved. I didn't let him get away with that, though. After taking out all the small fries, it was just me and the thick one. I shot him a few times, but that didn't really seem to do much damage, so I went in on him with my machete, chopping away, dodging, chopping some more, and getting hit. Then this guy tried to get a cheap shot on me, but ended up paying the ultimate price. A couple of hits to the skull later, and out of nowhere, I got these beast-like powers, and I just utterly brutalized the guy. I mean, he didn't even stand a chance. And that was that. I headed over to my boys' corpses and read a letter that was gemmed into one of their heads that said, "This is just the beginning." Well, that's ominous. I told the glasses guy about the situation over the radio, and he told me to come back to the museum to talk about it. When I got back, he gave me a little reward, told me he'd look into the problem we were facing, and sent me on my way. I checked out my inventory here to see what it was he gave me, and I noticed you can wear a bunch of gear. Huh, you even have different loadouts. Oh, God, oh, don't look at that. Okay. Anyway, I crafted some more bandages and got out of there. With nothing better to do, I went around bullying some of the zombies in the area. It was during one of these bouts that the glasses guy contacted me and said that one of our boys was sent to a nearby church and he never returned. So he wanted me to go find him. Sounded good to me. I slid down into a nearby alley, threw a grenade at a fat boy, caved a skull in, and that was when I came across my very first group of sprinters. Not wanting to get my ass pounded into the next dimension, I ran for my damn life and ended up crawling up onto a balcony. There, I dished out some justice to the leader's kneecaps and then kicked her sorry ass back down to the ground. Her two sisters attacked me right after that, so I blocked, crushed one's head into hamburger meat, and desperately ran away from the last one because I was completely out of stamina. Thankfully, I was able to catch my breath after avoiding her for a few seconds, and I sent that witch to meet her maker. I showed up at the church a few minutes later and cleared the area. I ended up doing some kind of karate move on one of the poor things and ended up looting its body, and I kind of felt bad about it, not gonna lie. Continuing with my mission, I slipped in through the front door, and inside, I couldn't believe my damn eyes. There was a spitter, some guy charging at me in some kind of invulnerable armor, and a whole bunch of sprinters. Brother, I just spawned in. I am not ready for that. After crying and screaming about how much my life sucked, I headed right back in and fought those disgusting creatures. I jammed a throwing knife into one's head, ran out of there and healed back up, and returned once again to activate my beast powers. I slammed ham. I stomped the ground like a roided up Hulk, and I slapped the confidence straight out of that armored moron. My powers did run out pretty quickly, but the rest of the bozos were pretty easy to take out after that, so it wasn't a big deal. At the end of it all, I noticed there was a note just sitting next to the front door, and it said, "Your pain, your fear, your carcasses, our revenge." Oh, Okay, so I'm wrapped up in some kind of revenge plot, huh? That's just great. I reported back to the glasses man, and he told me that he had an idea on who was doing all these terrible acts and that he would get back to me after verifying some things. He told me to just chill out and have some fun in the meantime. So I did. I equipped a bunch of other weapons that were just sitting in my inventory, and I got to work. I took some zombies out with my bow, I pulled out my pistol and began causing anarchy, and I even took out some Lucille-looking baseball bat to pummel the undead with. It was during this little escapade that Glasses Man told me he had a lead. There was a military convoy he'd sent yet another one of our boys to, and that guy also didn't return. I was starting to wonder if we'd have anyone left by the end of this. So yeah, I parkoured my way over to the convoy and was met with a wall of infected. Ain't no way was I meleeing my way out of that. There was just way too many of them. The good news was I had a bunch of Molotovs ready to go, so I equipped one and burned those brats into a fine crisp. And look! It was one of those little string beans from the second game. She beat my ass like I wasn't even a threat to her. I couldn't believe it. With vengeance boiling over in my heart, I returned to that place seething with rage. The little weirdo was jumping around like a monkey, riding the zombie's shoulders without a care in the world. So I threw a Molotov at the moron, and when she tried to retaliate, I crushed every bone in her pathetic little body. Before I could even figure out what was going on at the convoy though, night approached and the volatiles were out, sniffing around for any sign of me. Thankfully, I was able to get to our boy's body without any trouble, but wait. When I woke up, they dropped me smack dab in the middle of a chase, and I had no option but to run. Not wanting to have my body torn open like a piñata at an 8-year-old's birthday party, I sprinted back to the museum and quickly looked behind me and made it back by the skin of my teeth. It was time for some answers. I went straight for the glasses man and ordered him to tell me what was going on or I'd do terrible things to him. He was hesitant at first, but eventually he told me that they made a deal with some bandits a few days back and that something happened and then they ended up fighting each other. Long story short, the bandits were out for some revenge. Great. So I was in the middle of some apocalyptic drama, huh? I headed back out into the night, and the very first thing I did was start beating on a volatile. Why did I do this? I have no idea. The thing tried to eat my soul, and another one of his boys popped up out of nowhere to double team my ass, so I ran. Eventually making it back to the UV lights at the museum. They all cowered away like the spineless fools they were and tried to retreat, but you know what? I wasn't just gonna let them get away with that, so I chased one down, drop-kicked his ass, brought him back to the UV area, and started pummeling him. It was a 1v1 now, and that moron couldn't do a damn thing. Realizing the situation was stacked against him, he tried to make a break for it, so I unloaded a full clip into his back. Then, I unloaded another. I dodged his swipe, clubbed him with my baseball bat, and after one final swing, the monster was defeated.
Yes!
The power I felt in that moment was unlike anything I had ever experienced. Anyway, it was time to calm down. I headed to a nearby dilapidated building and did some looting. I was able to get some drinks and energy bars, so I had a good snack. I annihilated a small child, and after getting word from Glasses Man about another potential lead, I showed up to another dilapidated building, and there, I found one of the bandits. He told me that my people were evil, that we were the villains, and that they were just trying to survive. Yeah, he was talking way too much, but he did make me ponder the situation. For you see, good and evil, it is all relative, is it not? No, I was obviously the good one here. Everyone else was evil. Here I was given some skill points for doing such a good job. There were a lot of different skill trees to choose from, and there was even one for the beast skills, but I just went for the simple one that let me piggyback off a zombie's shoulders to make traversing a bit easier on me. Now listen to this. That guy whose brains were painted all over the wall had a map in his jacket, and this map just so happened to lead me to his hideout where all the rest of his boys were. Meaning, I was gonna be afforded the opportunity to cave some human skulls in. Finally! And wait a minute, is that a car? Oh, hell yeah!
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Okay, I was getting too distracted. Back to the mission. I arrived at the bandits' hideout and took a look around. It didn't look like anyone was there. I mean, there was some food and drinks, and the place didn't look as decrepit as it should have, but honestly, I was starting to wonder if that map I'd taken was a fake. Had I been fooled? I was about ready to call this elite a dud and head back out into the world, but before I could, I saw a note sitting there on the front counter, and it basically confirmed my suspicions. Someone else was there with me, and they were about to meet the business end of my hammer. Moving into the main room, I came across a lady in a wheelchair who was being really mean to me for no reason. I hardly said a damn word to her before a group of men showed up looking for trouble. It looked like I was gonna have to fight my way out of there if I was gonna survive. I hit a home run, I blocked some loser's attack, and I put 1,000 pounds of pressure on this man's skull, yet somehow, he still got back up. Are you kidding me? I hit him so hard that he should have woken up in 1864. It seemed I wasn't putting enough power into my attacks. That meant it was time to get serious. With every ounce of strength I could possibly muster up, I sent that two-handed hammer flying and crushed this man's skull, sending him on the express lane to the pits of hell. I then slammed my weapon into Buddy Boy's head and exploded his brains all over the place right in front of the big boss. But the guy barely flinched. He seemed to have no emotion. I tried to convince him that fighting me was pointless, that he'd only end up like his friends, but he wasn't listening, not even a little bit. So I returned downstairs to the first man I put to sleep and shattered his skull like a tomato-filled water balloon. Oh god! Oh, I definitely wasn't gonna go to heaven after that one. I was hoping the big guy would have some kind of mental breakdown after seeing his friend's head get turned into an exploded watermelon, but he was as solid as a rock. Nothing could faze him. I decided that enough was enough. He clearly wasn't gonna back down. I pulled out my bow and Abraham'd his ass, and let's just say the guy barely understood what was happening after that. A bullet to the head was all I needed to claim my victory. All of a sudden, a bunch of alarms went off, and I was bombarded with a group of sprinters. I had to go around breaking each of the bells, and when everything was taken care of, I went to check out the wheelchair lady's room, only to find her dead. I looted the place, put on all the new drip I acquired, and drove all the way back to the museum. I needed to talk to the glasses man about all of this. He wasn't telling me the full story. That much was obvious. When I returned, he basically boiled everything down to the fact that everyone was trying to survive in their own ways, and that they didn't do anything wrong by attacking those people. I questioned the guy on what exactly it was he did to them, and he just avoided my question, praising me for all the good work I did. And, I guess that was that? Did I just accidentally join the bad guy's side? Whoops. Whoopsie doodles. For the next half hour, I basically just messed around. I burned a big group of zombies and watched as their skin melted off. I stared at the beautiful mountain range that was just outside of the town's borders and shed a single tear. I connected a generator to an outlet to solidify a safe zone, and I got to swim with a school of fishes. 10 out of 10 game, everybody. And that's really it. I didn't get to see too much of the game, but from the small amount I did experience, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the full game has to offer. If you guys enjoyed this video and are as excited as I am for the new game, go to the links in the description and pin comment down below to pre-order your copy of Dying Light the Beast now. It releases on September 19th, so be sure to keep an eye out for it. Thank you so much to Techland for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you thick boys in the next one.